Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome to the GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday here, middle of the week. I am Tom Dougherty, your host, as always. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast if you're listening to it on any of your devices there at home or on the phone. Make sure to just hit that subscribe button. It'll pop up for you a lot easier next time you come to listen to the show, which hopefully will be soon. Or, I mean, we have tons of shows. It's all archived. Everybody go look at the shows on the archive of everything. We talk about all sorts of baseball stuff Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week, as we are right in the middle of this baseball season. Great time to be a baseball fan. Lots of good teams, lots of good races, as we have for the American part. I mean, there's the Nationals, Phillies, and Braves all fighting in the American League National League East. We have, American League National League East. We have, Cardinals are only 3 back in third place. Cubs are only half game back during the. In the National League Central. The AL East. Obviously, Red Sox and Yankees running away with that one. It'll be a 2-team battle the whole time. Only real boring. The boring race is that, if you're Indians fans, you got to feel good because you're going to be comfortably in first place pretty soon here, if not already. 5 games up on the Twins now, who are in second place. The Indians finally starting to get over 500 a little bit there. And then the really cool one is the Mariners and Astros really going after it. As I didn't put the American League West up there. I did talk about them a little bit, but we're kind of we'll talk about them a little bit as well in this show. As my Angels have really fallen off. Not my Angels. Angels. If I were Mike Trout, I'm sorry. You gotta love playing and living in Orange County. It's got to be great. I'm sure he loves to go to Disneyland every few days or so, or weeks or so. But come on, don't you want to get to the playoffs and win a playoff series? Don't you want to actually win, like, in your career once? He's been to one playoff series and they lost. That was it. So it's a big market. It's great, but now you're 6.5 back. You're 6 back of the Mariners. Or 6.5 back of the Mariners, 6 back of the Astros. I'm not saying the Mariners are going to be any flashy team going through this whole season, the whole time in first place. I think they're going to fall off as well too. But you just played the Mariners over the weekend and you got swept. So not very good right there. You had a chance to gain some ground, Angels, and you had a chance and you didn't do anything. Unless I think actually they didn't get swept yet, right? Are they playing them right now? Yeah, they're playing him right now. They lost the first 2 games. They've lost 3 in a row. The Mariners have won 3 in a row. So they play up a game today at 1 o'clock Pacific time. They'll get that. Try to avoid the sweep, maybe get a game back. All right, well, let's jump right into it. It's we're going to go into Monday's games. Obviously, shorter slate on Monday. We'll do it right now as we're going to start in South Beach. The Giants dropped game 1 of their 4-game series with the Marlins, 7-5. Giants had a lead in this one, gave it up as the Marlins scored 3 times in the bottom of the 7th inning to take the lead, and they would hold on to that to get the win there. Home runs. Brian Anderson hit an opposite field home run, an impressive opposite field home run for his 4th of the season, and then JT Realmuto hit his 7th of the season, a 2-run shot for him. Red Sox shut out the Orioles in 12 innings. It took 12 innings for the Red Sox to scratch across 2 runs against the Baltimore Orioles. They scored twice on 2 sacrifice flies in that 12th inning. Pitching performances in this one, Dylan Bundy lowering that ERA down. I mean, last week he was at a 6 ERA or 5.5. Now he's down to 3.36. Went 8 shutout innings, got 3 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He's had back-to-back excellent starts with nothing to show for it, unfortunately. Getting that ERA down a little bit as well. For the Red Sox, it was Sean Wright, actually. Or Stephen Wright, who went for the Red Sox. He went 6 2/3 innings, allowed no runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. The knuckleballer there for Boston. Rays and Jays got going in the Trop down there at Tampa Bay as the Rays get the win at home 8-4. And this one is they got a home run from Bowers. It was a solo or a 2-run shot. His first of the year. That's the young rookie Jake Bowers for the Rays. He get his first home run of the season. For the Blue Jays, Teoscar Hernandez hit his 11th of the season in the loss there. As the Rays, I mean, they gave up some runs early in this one. That was it was the start for Yarbrough, who actually got the start. He did not have a reliever pitch that first inning. He went 6 innings, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, gave that home run to Hernandez. But that was about it. He got the win, his 5th of the season. In Milwaukee, the Cubs beat the Brewers in 11 innings, 7-2. They scored 5 runs in the top of the 11th inning after taking the lead. They scored 4 more runs, so made that bottom of the 11th a little tough for the Brewers. They did not come back at all. As they got home runs for the Brewers. Kratz hit his 3rd, and then Jonathan Villar hit his 6th of the season. For the Cubs, Anthony Rizzo hit his 11th of the year, a big home run there in the 11th inning. Indians shut out the White Sox 4-0. Carlos Carrasco gets his 8th win on the season. It was a nice performance for him as he went 7 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts for Carrasco as he was untouchable there in Chicago. Michael Brantley hit his 11th home run of the season for the Indians, and they got another win there. Their 35th of the season is down there 6 games over 500. Well, that was on Monday. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what they did yesterday as well. Cardinals beat the Padres 5-2 on Monday. As Flaherty gets the win. Jack Flaherty gets his 3rd win of the season. He beats Jordan Lyles in this one, as it was a little bit of a low-scoring affair. The Cardinals did get a couple home runs, though. A few. They got Jose Martinez hit a 2-run shot, his 10th. Marcelo Ozuna, another 2-run shot, his 7th. And Jed Jerko hit a solo homer back in San Diego. Actually, this game was in St. Louis. Against his former team, though, the Padres. Jed Jerko, his 5th of the year. They got all their runs on homers. For the Padres, Corey Spangenberg hit his 6th of the season for them. In Arizona, the Diamondbacks get the 9-5 win. They scored 5 runs in the 7th and 4 in the 8th. After trailing 5-0. Joe Musgrove pitched very nicely for the Pirates. He went 6 innings, allowed only 2 earned runs on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Did give up 3 an unearned run, though. Didn't think that was going to hurt him, but the bullpen was not able to hold on as the Diamondbacks got a late home run from Jake Lamb, a 3-run homer to put them back in that game. That was in the 7th inning there, Lamb's 4th of the season. And then, like I said, they scored 4 more in the 8th to extend that lead or take the lead and get the win. Mariners with the Angels 5-3. So this was the final game on the short Monday. This was the first game of their series going between the team that's trying to get back into the race and the team that's trying to extend their lead over the Astros. I think the Mariners are a little more worried about the Astros than they are the Angels. As Wade LeBlanc gets his 2nd win of the season, he beats the other lefty, Andrew Heaney. LeBlanc went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, to give up a couple home runs. But it was not that bad. Obviously, Mike Trout hit 2 home runs in this one, both solo shots, and then Albert Pujols added his 10th home run. That was also a solo shot as well, as that was all the 3 runs the Angels could muster. In this one, Trout hit his 20th and 21st homer on Monday in the loss. The Mariners got 2 home runs as well from Nelson Cruz, his 14th and 15th. And then also Ryan Healy hit his 10th of the season as well off of Andrew Heaney in this one. All right, that was it for Monday. As now we'll go over to Tuesday, and this will carry over into the next segment as well. Before we get into some talk on the Nationals, Red Sox, a little bit of American League West, National League East. We'll go coast to coast in this one. As Game 2 of this 4-game series for the Marlins and the Giants. Marlins win 3-1 behind a nice pitching performance from the young Trevor Richards, as he pitched very nicely after a shaky first inning. He got through and ended up going 6 innings, allowed only 1 run on 2 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. And the Giants, who have, if you look at their over the weekend, they played well, had a 15-hit game, had a 11-hit game against the Nationals. They come into Miami and the bats go quiet, only 3 hits in this one for San Francisco, as they could not back up Chris Stratton, who also pitched pretty well. He went 7 innings, allowed 3 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. For him, the Marlins did not get a homer in this one, though, as they got the win there, scoring all 3 runs in the 3rd inning. Red Sox beat the Orioles 6-4. Eduardo Rodriguez gets his 8th win on the season, as he has been very nice. He's 8-1 with a 3.64 ERA, getting some good run support too, though. Always helpful for the Orioles. Rickard hit his 4th of home run of the year for the Red Sox. Rafael Devers hit his 10th, and Andrew Benintendi his 12th, as Rodriguez went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 8 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Just that home run to Rickard was the big blemish. Phillies beat the Rockies at home. The Rockies tried to come back. They scored 3 runs in the 9th inning. Colorado did, but the Phillies were able to hold them off, get Aaron Nola his 8th win on the season. He's now 8-2 with a 2.27 ERA, making a nice bid for that All-Star game, maybe even starting it there in D.C. Probably going to be the Nationals' own starter, though, starting at home. Max Scherzer, likely, but Nola will definitely be on that staff there in July. But his line for this game in Philadelphia, it was 6 2/3 innings allowed, 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts for Nola, as he pitches well at home. Scott Kingery hit his 3rd homer of the year, a 3-run shot off of John Gray. No homers for the Rockies in this one. Gray, that was really his only blemish. He only allowed 4 runs on 3 hits, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings of work in the loss. Yankees shut out the Nationals 3-0. CC Sabathia gets his 4th win on the season. He's 4-1 with a 3.27 ERA now, as the Yankees got 2 in the 2nd and 1 in the 6th to make that 3-0, and they got the shutout victory over a Nationals team that's kind of reeling now. They get the win on Saturday against the Giants, but they have not. They dropped that series, and then they will have their 2-game series against this Yankees team really quickly before they go back on the road, or they continue their road trip. The Yankees, I think, will be going to D.C. next week for a 2-game in one day, a doubleheader on a Monday to make up those games they missed out at a Yankee Stadium. But in this one, Didi had 2 home runs. Didi Gregorius hit his 12th and 13th homer of the season in the win for New York. Twins beat the Tigers 6-4. Presley gets his 1st win of the season. Was that in relief? I believe it was. Jake Odorizzi was the starter for the Twins in this one, but he gets no decision as Minnesota scored 4 times in the 7th inning to take the lead there. The Tigers tried to come back. They scored 2 in the bottom half, but the Twins re-extended that lead back out to 2 runs. They scored 1 in the 8th. Home run by Ere Adrianza, his 3rd of the season. I should be able to say his last name a little better than that. Ere Adrianza. He used to play for the Giants. And then no home runs for the Tigers in this one. Rays with the Blue Jays again, 4-1. Pruitt gets the win for the Rays and Jays, as he gets another relief appearance. It was the Rays really went bullpen in this one. Stanek, the starter, only went 2 innings, no hit innings, 3 strikeouts, and then Pruitt came in and pitched 2 2.2 innings actually. Allowed 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, 1 strikeout, and 2 2/3 innings work as he got the win. Wilson Ramos hit his 8th home run of the year, a 2-run shot for the Rays, as they only allowed 1 run on the Blue Jays in that one. Nicely done. They get the 4-1 win. Braves beat the Mets 8-2. This will be the last game until we go to the next segment. 8-2 was the win here in Atlanta. The Mets scored twice in the top of the sixth to take a 2-1 lead, but then they gave up 6 runs in the bottom of the sixth inning, and the Braves retook that lead with fire right there. Freddie Freeman hit his 13th of the year. Ozzie Albies hit a grand slam, his 16th homer of the year, as he hit that grand slam in the sixth inning, of course, with 2 outs off of the Mets bullpen there. Tough for Zach Wheeler, who had pitched well, but then all those runs he left the bases loaded when it was taken out of the game, and all those runs came in to score for the Braves. There, they got the win, 8-2. The starter for the Braves was Mike Foltynewicz. He went 5 shutout innings, allowed 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, no runs, 5 shutout innings, but he was actually got hung with the no decision because the Braves scored their runs in the sixth inning. It was Carl who got the win there for Atlanta. And then we'll go on the break really quick. We'll come back and finish off these games from Tuesday. Then we'll go and do some talk in the middle of 2 segments before we preview the week, the back end of the week, today's and Thursday's games in the final segment. So everybody stay tuned.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday. We're going to cover the rest of the games from Tuesday in just a moment. I do want to talk about on some of these games. You can see that the teams are trying to come back a little bit. Bullpens are getting great. Obviously, people are throwing hard and everything, and they can get susceptible. People can get, when you throw hard and you're throwing, and you miss over the middle of the plate, guys can hit 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. Guys can hit 99-mile-an-hour fastballs. That's all it takes sometimes. All it takes is one mistake over the middle of the plate, and the game can be in flux, or can be over, or you can hopefully have your team come back. Bullpens are bullpens. I feel like sometimes your bullpen can be great, your bullpen can be crappy, your bullpen can be disappointing, your bullpen can just, by the nail of its teeth, go and get past the team or just squeak by. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with starting pitching. And speaking of starting pitching, we'll come into this game that happened yesterday. Cubs and Brewers, pick it up where we left off here. Cubs and Brewers. The Brewers shut out the Cubs 4-0. Chase Anderson was beautiful as he went 7 innings, only allowed 1 hit. 7 innings of 1-hit ball, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for him. As the Brewers got 2 in the first and 2 in the third, and that's all they needed to beat the Cubs there at home. White Sox beat the Indians 5-1 as the James Shields gets his second win of the season as he beats Plutko in this one. The White Sox got 3 runs in the first inning and 2 in the fifth as they set the tone early in this one. Home runs, Yoan Moncada hit his 9th of the season, Sanchez his 4th of the season for the White Sox. Indians didn't get much as Francisco Lindor did hit a couple of doubles, but that was about it, as Plutko only lasted 4 2/3 innings after giving up the 5 runs. Reds beat the Royals in 10 innings, 5-1. They scored 1 in the 9th inning to keep alive, and then 4 in the 10th to win the game. That's the bullpen. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about at the beginning, before this segment start. At the beginning of the segment, it's weird. It's weird sometimes. Your bullpen, you can be great. So these bullpens can be really, really volatile. Sometimes they can be great. Look at this line of this game in Kansas City, Reds and Royals. These are 2 bottom dwellers in the league. Just to let you know, when they pitched, Ian Kennedy went 8 shutout innings, allowed 3 hits on 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Kelvin Herrera came in. He's supposed to be this great guy in the bullpen. Obviously, he's been a great bullpen guy, World Series champion. He gives up the run. How they scored that run? I mean, that's the thing. You could score runs out in any kind of way. Joey Votto hit a triple. I mean, come on. Joey Votto hit a triple. Actually, that was that was in the 10th inning. Sorry, Tucker Barnhart hit homer. That's it. I'm telling you. Kelvin Herrera throws hard. He threw one in the middle by I don't want to say by accident, but mistake in the middle. And Tucker Barnhart's got a quick enough bat. I mean, I could pull it up right now. It was a 2-2 count, and he throws a fastball or a slider right down the middle at 88 miles an hour. And the guy usually throws 90 something, so he's thinking change the speed a little bit, and he misses with an off-speed pitch, whether it was a changeup or not. Not sure. It probably was a change of 88 miles an hour, knowing how hard he threw. There wasn't much movement on that pitch. It was pretty straight. Or it could have just been a cement mixer slider, and he gave up the home run to tie the game, blowing the save. And that one, and of course, like I said, the triple by Votto knocked in 3 runs. Actually, it was a bases clearing triple with the bases loaded, and then Suarez knocked him in with a single right after that, and got the Reds the win. The Reds pitching Romano went 8 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. The 1 run was a homer by Hunter Dozier, his second of his career, actually, the young rookie there for the Royals. But yeah, bullpens are weird. Bullpens are weird. Yeah, so I mean, you can't take them for granted. I mean, you can't expect anything. You can't, especially the Yankees. You have Dylan Betances and Aroldis Chapman and David Robinson. Sometimes you think, oh, it's game's over. I mean, that's how the Royals won their World Series. They get the start of the 5th inning, 6th inning, game's over. Wrap it up. Call it a day. But that Kelvin Herrera is a perfect example. He was one of those guys in that Royals bullpen that got him to the World Series and making be season to season kind of thing. I mean, yeah, the Royals do lose Wade Davis and Greg Holland, who's honestly gone downhill a little bit. Wade Davis has had some issues pitching in Colorado. So yeah. It's never easy. It's never going to be the same automatic thing every time. So that's why baseball is awesome. And you can't, when the game's over, you think, oh, okay, 9th inning, game's going to be over. No, you got to get them out. You got to get 3 outs. And I mean, the Scott Schubler the Tucker Barnhart home run, was that with how many outs was there in the 9th inning? I mean, there was nobody out, but still, leadoff guy. I mean, actually, and then you got to give credit to Herrera. You're first batter of the 9th inning, and you give up a homer, and then you got to get those 3 outs, and hopefully not give up any more runs. Fortunately, I mean, he did not pitch that 10th inning. It was a different pitcher that gave all the runs in the 10th, but yeah, it can flip the switch on you. You can be pitching in different situations very easily. All right, let's roll the next game as Padres and Cardinals got a series going in St. Louis. Or it continued in St. Louis, as it was Miles Mikolas going for the Cardinals. He drops this one. He takes the loss, as that was only his 2nd loss on the season, though, as the spot starter for the Cardinals. And this one, as it was it Simber or Kimber? It's Cimber. I think it's Kimber. Or I don't know. I think I after C. English language is so weird sometimes. You can pronounce it. I think I can look up the actual phonetic spelling of it at another time. But yeah, so he got the win for the Padres in this one, as the Padres, they aren't going away. They're only 6.5. They're only 6.5 back. They're in the National League West, as the National League West is deemed to be one of the more open divisions in this league. 4-2 was the score there in St. Louis, as the Padres get the win. They scored 3 in the 4th inning to basically set the tone in that one against Mikolas. Padres got a home run from Hosmer in the that was in the 4th inning, his 9th of the year. In San Diego, in Arizona, the Diamondbacks get the win over the Pirates 13-8. The Diamondbacks scored 6 runs in the first. Both teams had a 6-run inning. The Diamondbacks scored 6 in the first, 2 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th, after the Pirates scored 6 in the top of the 4th inning to make it at least a little interesting. But that was about it. The Diamondbacks put that one to rest, as they played a little bit of a not much of a home run derby, though. John Jay hit his first home run as a Diamondback. I believe it was his first home run as a Diamondback, as he was just traded there to fill in for Pollock, who's been sidelined again with that wrist injury. And then for the Pirates, Marte hit his 8th of the season there for Pittsburgh. And that one it was a bunch of doubles and extra base hits scored in those runs. 13-8 was the final. Astros beat the A's 6-3. Lance McCullers Jr. gets his 8th win on the season. He beats Daniel Megden, who went 4 2/3 innings. Allowed 6 runs on 8 hits, 4 walks, 1 strikeout, 2 home runs allowed by Megden as the Astros get another win. McCullers was good. He went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts there for Lance McCullers Jr. Home runs for the Astros. Carlos Correa hit his 11th, and Evan Gattis also hit his 11th in this one in Oakland. Mariners beat the Angels by the same score, 6-3. Mike Leake gets his 7th win of the season, beating Jaime Barria, who's Billy been. Andrew Heaney's also left-handed, but those are really the only 2 lefties there for the Angels in their rotation. Their rotation has been kind of in flux now. No more Ohtani. You thinking Ohtani's going to be a stalwart there? Nope. He's only pitching 1 day a week anyways, and then goes on the DL. Leake went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a homer allowed in this one. The Mariners were really the guys that hit a bunch of home runs. Mitch Haniger hit 2 home runs, his 14th and 15th. Ryan Healy also hit 2 home runs in this one, his 11th and 12th of the season. For the Mariners, the Angels got a home run from Mike Trout. 2 more home runs for Mike Trout. He hit his 22nd and 23rd, but guess what? It was in a loss again because the Mariners had 2 guys hit 2 home runs. Mike Trout gets 1-upped every time, it seems like. He's the best player in the league, leading the league in home runs, and he gets 1-upped by Ryan Healy and Mitch Haniger as they both go deep twice. 3 guys in that game hitting 2 home runs. Wow. So that's a pretty impressive show right there from both teams. But Mike Trout was the only offense for the Angels. It never fails. Mike Trout, get off that team, buddy. Get off the team. Find somewhere else to play. Get a playoff victory under your belt. I feel so bad for him sometimes. Not that bad. He's getting paid millions of dollars and he's living in a nice little house probably in Marina Del Rey or something. Yeah. Final game of the day, Dodgers and Rangers. It was a 12-2 win for Los Angeles as they scored 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 7 runs in the 4th inning, and then 1 in the 5th against Rangers pitching, which is not. They beat Bartolo Colon actually, who's been decent this season actually, as he only lasted 3 1/3 innings, allowed 8 runs in his outing, and this one is the. Dodgers, I think, had that young pitcher go. Caleb Ferguson pitched the lefty. He went 4 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for the rookie there. Home runs for the Dodgers. Jock Peterson hit his 8th of the season. Max Muncy his 13th, and Yasiel Puig his 8th. The Rangers, Tin-Soo Choo hit his 12th of the season for Texas. All right. I think I gave a little standings update. Arizona does have a 3-game lead in first place in the National League West, as we'll finish off this segment with just a little update here. 3 games over the Dodgers. In second place, the Braves have a 1-game lead over the Nationals in first place in the East. And the Brewers have a half-game lead over the Cubs in the National League Central. As I think they're in the middle of a series right now, aren't they? Yep. As the Braves jockey for position there is flip-flopping back and forth. They take the half-game lead going into Wednesday with a 40-27 record. Yankees are tied now virtually with the Red Sox, even though the game disparity is quickly. The Red Sox have 3 more wins than the Yankees, but 3 more losses. So that's how many more games the Yankees needed to catch up. As they have that nice 694 win percentage, but virtually tied because the Red Sox they have 3 wins and the same amount of wins, same amount of losses, differentiating. So they're virtually tied in first place. As like I said, they're going to be jockeying the whole time. And we talked about the wild card. Whoever's in second place in that division will likely be hosting the wild card game through the American League, and it's going to be Luis Severino and the Yankees. I mean, if you're the Yankees, you got to be afraid of that wild card game a little bit, because even if you win, you're going to be probably playing the Red Sox in game one in the ALDS, and you're not going to have Luis Severino for game one. You're not. You're going to have probably Tanaka if he's healthy, or Sonny Gray, or I don't know, CC Sabathia against the Red Sox game one at Fenway Park is not going to be pretty if you win that wild card game. The Indians have now carved out a 5-game lead in first place, and the Central is they're 35-30 over the Twins. And Twins and Tigers are kind of going back and forth in second place there. They separated themselves from the White Sox and Royals as well in the American League Central, which has been the most dismal division in the league by far. And then in the American League West, which is going to be an interesting fight. We'll see how long the Seattle Mariners can hang around, but they are in first place. They are half game up on the the Astros, who are in second place right now. Angels have fallen back after losing 2 to Seattle this week, and we'll see if they can get one back today with the win. But if I told you that Mike Trout has hit 4 home runs in 2 games in Seattle, you think the Angels would have won one of them, right? At least one, right? Nope. They lost both of them, and Trout has 4 home runs in 2 games. Yeah, that's how bad the Angels are, even with Mike Trout, the best player in the world. And he can't get a win. All right, that'll wrap it up for this segment. We'll come back and do some talk on the Nationals, who find themselves very close to first place, at least, behind the baby Braves, who still, got to give the Braves credit. They're still in first place. They're still playing well with their young roster, and obviously Freddie Freeman and that pitching staff. And then also Red Sox in the NL East has been heating up as well. We talked about the NL East a little bit. I don't know why I put NL East and the Nationals. Interesting. We'll do all the talk. Honestly, I just put that up there. Well, that's my highlight keys. We'll get to a lot of different stuff in this third segment before we go and preview the games for Wednesday and Thursday in the final segment. All right, stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back. Third segment of the day today here on a Wednesday. As I want to do some talk on the Nationals, Red Sox. I put the NL East up there. NL East is going to be interesting. I think the Phillies might fall off a little bit more, but the Phillies were supposed to be the team that was closer to being ready to win, not the Braves. The Braves were supposed to be the team. The Phillies and Braves are kind of flip flop because the Braves have a very similar, I would say, a similar roster of youth and veteran mixture. I think the Phillies might be a little bit younger, but they do have the more. They have Jake Arrieta in the rotation compared to the veteran presence in the rotation for the Braves is, I guess, Brandon McCarthy, yeah, for sure, but Mike Fultonavich as well. I would consider him. He's been in the league for a few years now. But, for the Braves, it's the rookies. The Phillies, it's a lot of second-year, third-year players. So you think that they would be the more team that's ready to carry this along the whole rest of the season. The Phillies aren't out of it. They're only 3 back. You got to worry about the Nationals, though. They're heating up. They're playing well. They were playing well until the last weekend. Dropped 2 out of 3 against the Giants, and they just lost one to the Yankees. They have another one against the Yankees today. That'll be a fun one out there in the Bronx. So let's see if Harper can hit one up in the third deck of Yankee Stadium. That'll be fun to watch. But they got to keep it going. They got to keep hitting. They got to keep pitching because the Braves and the Phillies don't seem to be going away. The Phillies, obviously, with Jake Arrieta, you got Aaron Nola in there, Vince Velasquez. You got to like their rotation a little bit. Nick Pavetta's been decent. If they can keep hitting, I mean, like I said, they have a bunch of second-year, third-year players, whether it's Rhys Hoskins or it's going to be Cesar Hernandez or it's going to be Aaron Altier or it's going to be Alfaro, the catcher. I mean, I can name all these guys who are young, raw players. Same kind of thing over in Atlanta where you have Albies and Dansby Swanson. I mean, he's not considered a rookie technically anymore. He played last year. Albies, though, he's a rookie. Acuna is a rookie. I mean, you got Soroka as a rookie. They got the young pitcher there. Sean Newcomb is young. I mean, basically it's Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, and the kids over there in Atlanta. I mean, you got actually Kurt Suzuki as well is having a really nice season actually for the Braves too. So you got to like all of that. I mean, they're playing well. They're staying there. I mean, I think they're 5-5 in the last 10. So they did have a little rough stretch. I think they put the Dodgers in LA and had a bit of a rough stretch there. But I mean, we've looked at their June and we realized that their June isn't too tough. I mean, they played the Mets this week. They should handle the Mets just fine. As did they win both those games against the Mets? Yeah, so they won Tuesday against the Mets. They're playing right now as they start game. They only had quick 2-game series. Weird, a 2-game interdivision series as they'll go to San Diego for 4 over the weekend. Or they're going to play home against San Diego's going to be coming in for 4 over the weekend in Atlanta. So before they go to Toronto, so they got a pretty simple. They go to Toronto, then they come home for Baltimore and Cincinnati. So that should be some wins racking up. Maybe you get some carve out another lead there in first place in the National League East. The Nationals, obviously, they got to play the Yankees. I think they play the Yankees like 3 more times. They play them today, and they have a doubleheader next week as well. Before they go, wait, was that the Yankees? That's the Yankees. I want the National schedule. Thank you, National schedule. As they have 4 games against the Yankees, and they go to Toronto before coming home for Baltimore, and then Philadelphia. That'll be a good series. And Tampa, they go to Tampa Bay, then back to Philadelphia. So they'll have a little breather, then they'll have a test with the Phillies, and then they'll have a breather. So the Phillies actually are the team that right now could make a move. If they can get some of those games against the Nationals this coming weeks, they can definitely make a move and get back up there into at least second place and get back to the battle with the Braves, because the Braves should reel off some wins here at the end of the month because the way their schedule sets up for them this month. But the Phillies should also have a chance too. I mean, they're gonna have some nice divisional games against the Nationals coming up at the end of this month as well. 2 different series, a home and a road. I mean, the Nationals, 4-6 in the last 10. Phillies are 3-7, so both those teams are a little bit down right now. I mean, the Braves are playing the Mets right now, so they should be able to take care of that one because the Mets have been absolutely dismal in this. I think they have the worst record since May 1st in the entire league, and that's including the Reds, who just got 24 wins. Is everybody at 20? Oh, Baltimore has 19 wins, by the way. So yeah, I think maybe it's the National League because I mean it's hard to have a worse record than the Orioles. And speaking of the Orioles, I mean that's going to be starting to come up. The hot stove, obviously, usually around the All-Star break is when we're going to start really talking about it. Obviously the deadline's July 31st. Is Manny Machado going to get traded? I mean, because he's not coming back, obviously. If you want to get, the whole idea is to get something back for him and see if somebody is, I mean, what the market's going to be is like, okay, is there a team out there who's Manny Machado away from winning a World Series? Or is there a bunch of teams who are okay right now with what they got and are going to just, we're just going to wait until we don't want to give up any of our prospects. We're going to wait till the offseason and then we'll get him as a free agent for next year. Or if there's a team that really, really is going to give up their future, because it's going to take a lot of prospects to get Manny Machado. I mean, maybe not that many because of the fact that the Orioles know they're not going to re-sign him next year, so they're going to take what they can get a little bit, probably, when it comes to a trade for Machado. But I don't know how many suitors are going to be. There's going to be, whether it's going to be the Red Sox or Yankees, or it's going to be a team in the National League, maybe the Dodgers. Think about it, Giants. It depends how many. I mean, these are all teams that have made a lot of deals in the last few years and have given up a lot of prospects to get players over to make runs in the playoffs the last few years. So we'll see even if they have how much they have in store to actually give away for Machado. All right. Going over the Red Sox in general, the Red Sox have done a good job staying in pace with the Yankees. Obviously, they've played 6 more games than New York due to the weather. But both teams are playing well right now. Yankees are 8-2 in the last 10. Red Sox are 7-3 in the last 10. Red Sox. They came off. I think they just came off a series with the Orioles. Or they're playing them right now. Yeah, they're playing the Orioles right now, so they should be fine. They're going to go to Seattle after this series, flying cross country. It'll be an interesting 4-game set in Seattle. So the Yankees are playing the Nationals. The Red Sox are playing the Seattle Mariners in first place in their division. So a pair of first place teams going this weekend will be a fun one. They just come off of a pretty. The Red Sox just played the Tigers, White Sox, and Orioles. Hopefully they can get the win today against the Orioles. They did take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers before dropping 2 out of 3 to the White Sox at home. If they can get the sweep against the Orioles, that'll be nice way to send them off to Seattle. So hopefully the Red Sox get that win there today for their sakes. I stay impartial here. You should get the win against the Orioles. You got Chris Sale going today. It's going to be a 12:05 Pacific time start, 3:05 start. It's interesting, 3:05 start Eastern time over there in Camden Yards. So what's it going to take for the Red Sox to really step up? Obviously Mookie Betts. He was having some. I think he had a still stint on the DL. He's back. The pitching. I think the Red Sox. If there's anything that's going to get the Red Sox different, because the bats are going to even out. I think the Yankees can hit. The Red Sox can hit. They can all hit. The Yankees maybe the park might play to them a little better, but the Red Sox obviously have the green monster there. They use that thing to their advantage as well. I think it's always going to come down to the pitching. And I think the Red Sox have a better rotation, but the Yankees have a better bullpen. So it's the combination of both that is going to what's really going to matter. Obviously, how your starters set up, the order of relievers that come out of the pen. If you have, for the long season, I think it's even for the playoffs, it obviously starts with your starting rotation. That's what it's called, the starting rotation. Your starters. That's where it's going to be to start off. But the thing with the Yankees is they don't really need a quality starter every time. They don't, because they can have a guy go for 2/3 or 5 innings, even if they get roughed up a little bit. With their bats, the way they hit, Aaron Boone can be really aggressive with his bullpen. He can be really aggressive with his bullpen, because he can, if they have a good long man in there, whether Montgomery's going to stay in the rotation or go into the bullpen and become that long man in the bullpen for New York, he can be really aggressive. So if CC's having issues in the 5th inning, he could take him out. The bats will back him up a little bit. He'll get some run support from the bullpen. The Red Sox can do that too, but the Red Sox have Chris Sale. They have David Price, but they're both left-handed. So their top 2 starters are left-handed, and the only real lefty threats in the Yankee lineup are Didi Gregorius and Greg Bird. And if they face a lefty, Bird probably won't play. Didi will play, but he hits lefties just fine. They'll have somebody else play first base, and you have Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton, all righties. Gleyber Torres is right-handed too, who can't really be neutralized by a left-handed starter like Chris Sale, as much as it would be if they're all left-handed. Chris Sale can neutralize anything if he is on, because that's how good he is against lefties or righties. But I'm just saying, you think about it a little differently if they had more lefty power in their lineup, or lefty bats in the lineup, and without so much right-handed power that they have now. Rick Porcello, is going to be up to him, obviously, to get everything figured out. He can be really, really good. He can be really, really bad. I think he can, if he can keep going over the whole season like he was when he was a Cy Young Award winner, then sure, the Red Sox will be just fine. I think the Yankees, though, they have Tanaka's had some, is going to have your hamstrings, don't mess around with the hamstrings. Tanaka's got both hamstrings issues. CC Sabathia's 35, right? Sonny Gray isn't really that reliable. He's not consistent enough. They have Severino, who's been the most consistent pitcher in the rotation, but that's about it. And so I think the bullpen's really going to be the Yankees. If the Yankees are going to keep it going, they got to hit and they got to hold teams off in the bullpen, because the starters aren't going to go very deep. They're not. You might get one every few starts. Sonny Gray goes 7 innings. You'll get Severino. That's his nice. So that's Aaron Boone will know that's his rest day for the bullpen, pretty much. But that also might force Aaron Boone to be less aggressive, be more conservative with the bullpen when you have Severino pitching, which might then in turn make him more vulnerable. So if anything, I think the Red Sox are a little better off right now for the long run, but you never can know. If you give up, if the Yankees can have their bats going and they score 10 runs or 8 runs or 7 runs, then you ain't gonna beat them. It's not gonna be fun. So that's my thoughts on that. When it comes to the Yankees Red Sox, like I've said it before in the show, I've said it before in multiple shows. The Yankees need to win that division. They do. Because the Red Sox have 2 aces. They actually have 3 aces. If the Red Sox don't win the division and they go to the wild card game, and I mean the Astros aren't gone. I'm not going to automatically give the American League East champion the best record in the league, because the Astros still might be able to take that away from them. So you never know. But obviously, if the Red Sox do finish second to the Yankees, go to the wild card game, play Seattle or LA, whoever it is, in the American League wildcard game, if they win that game, because you never know, wildcard games are weird. I mean, since the Kansas City Royals were down to their last out or strike or something against the A's, and they hit a double, and then all hell broke loose. No, the Red Sox are more built to win, to get into that wild card game, have Chris Sale win that game for them if he can, and then go into the DS and have Price, Porcello, and then Chris Sale, bam, again for Game 3. So your rotation doesn't get as jumbled up like it would be if the Yankees go to the wild card game. They have to put Severino out there, or maybe they start somebody else. You never know. Just try and go for the bats. You save Severino for Game 1 if that could be something Aaron Boone does. And think about that, where maybe you put out Sonny Gray out there. Hopefully he can get you 5 innings, roll with the bullpen, get some hits. And but those wild card games, sometimes it's the low scoring affairs, unless you're Brandon Crawford to hit a grand slam. But Giants fan coming out of me a little bit there, not too much. But no, we're a long way off. But I think that the Red Sox might not have to push on the gas as much if they are okay with getting second place, because especially if the Yankees don't have the best record in the league. If the Yankees finish with the second best record in the league, if the Astros have the better record, then you're going to play the Astros in the ALDS, and the Yankees will play the Indians. I mean, honestly, that's what we're headed for again, right? Red Sox, Astros, Indians, Yankees in the American League playoffs. Maybe the Mariners throw a wrench in that, but I don't think they're going to stay around the long haul. Angels, you know how I feel about the Angels. All right. That'll wrap it up for this segment. We'll come back and preview the games for Wednesday and Thursday when we come back, so everybody stay tuned.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, the final segment of the day today, as we are going to preview some games for Wednesday and Thursday. Obviously, Thursday is our short slate day, just like Monday is, so we'll be quicker going through that. But with Wednesday, we have a full slate of games, as we'll start off with the one in progress actually right now. As we speak, Mets and Braves are going right now. Soroka is pitching in the, they just finished up the bottom of the second inning. So they're in between the second and third inning. Soroka is going for the for the Braves against... For the Mets, it's going to be Jacob deGrom. So deGrom has pitched 2 clean innings, 2 perfect innings, and so has Soroka as well. So the young Mike Soroka, the right-hander, he's only 20 years old. So no hits yet in that one to announce as yet. So it'll be Soroka and deGrom going out there in Atlanta. In Miami, it is Andrew Suarez, the Miami native for the Giants, going against Caleb Smith for the Marlins, as they'll get that game going in a little bit here. It'll be a 4:10 Pacific time start out there in South Beach. So everybody, if you're a Giants fan, you'll be able to watch that in just a little bit here, as they'll actually have a really early morning game. They'll be going as we speak tomorrow. Jays and Rays get their series going again, as they'll have the getaway day. It'll be Wilmer Font going for the Rays, as they'll have that the starter go after him, the little piggyback thing going, like they're starting off with the reliever out in Tampa Bay. J Happ is going for the Blue Jays. He's 8-3 with a 3.71 ERA on the season. Cubs and Brewers get their series finished up. Mike Montgomery against Elise Chassin out in Milwaukee, as they continue to jockey for position there in the National League Central Division. Montgomery is 2-1 with a 3.56 ERA against Chassin, who is 5-1 with a 3.58 ERA. Red Sox and Orioles, it'll be Chris Sale going for the Red Sox. He's 5-4 with a 2.83 ERA. That 4 losses, that's probably just run support issues. He'll be going up against a guy who has not made a start yet. He's Jeffrey Ramirez, as he'll be making his debut for the season here for the Orioles. And no stats to report on him, as he's making his first start and his first appearance of the season. In Arizona, it'll be Jameson Taillon against Zach Greinke, a pair of nice right-handers. The young right-hander for the Pirates is 3-5 with a 4.08 ERA. Taillon looking for his 4th win. Greinke's 5-4 with a 3.53 ERA for the Diamondbacks. In Seattle, Angels and Mariners going. Garrett Richard against Marco Gonzalez. Richards is 4-4 with a 3.26 ERA. He's supposed to be their ace, guys. Just FYI, that's the Angels' ace is Garrett Richards. He's nasty when he is, but he's also going to be wild and hittable against Marco Gonzalez, who's not the ace of that staff. Let me just read you his stat line really quick. Oh, he's 7-3 with the same ERA as Garrett Richards. That just tells you that you have a better team around you, more run support, better bullpen. Duh. Rockies and Phillies in Philadelphia. Tyler Anderson. Chase Anderson pitched yesterday for the Brewers. Tyler Anderson, the left-hander, the young left-hander for the Rockies, going against the young right-hander Nick Pivetta for the Phillies. Pivetta is 4-5 with a 3.76 ERA against Anderson, who is 3-1 with a 4.81 ERA on the year. The premier game of the day is going to be Nationals and Yankees in New York. Sonny Gray going for the Yankees. He's 4-4 with a 4.81 ERA. He still needs to get that down. Sonny against a young right-hander for the Nationals. That is Eric Fedde, or Fed. I don't know. They don't have a phonetic spelling. It's Fedde. For the Nationals, he's 0-1 in the one game he's gone in for the Nationals. He'll be getting a spot start today for the injured Steven Strasburg. Minnesota Twins will be going a series continuing in Detroit. It'll be Jose Barrios against Matthew Boyd for the Tigers. Boyd is 4-4 with a 3.20 ERA. Barrios 7-5 with a 3.66 ERA there for Minnesota, as they'll get that game going around 4 o'clock Pacific time. Another Central Division tilts going as well. Indians and White Sox. Trevor Bauer is going for the Indians. He's 5-4 with a 2.62 ERA. Pitched nicely this year. Not getting much run support, though, against Covey for the White Sox. That's Dylan Covey for the White Sox. He's 2-1 with a 2.22 ERA in his short stint here in the majors so far, pitching well. In Kansas City, it'll be Tyler Mahle, who's supposed to be the guy who's supposed to be becoming the star of that rotation there in Cincinnati. He's 4-6 with a 4.33 ERA. He'll go against Jason Hamill, who's 2-6 with a 5.12 ERA. But the bottom of the barrel teams right there in the Central Divisions in either league, Royals and Reds. Padres and Cardinals going in St. Louis again. It'll be I would say Matt Lauer. It's not Matt Lauer. It's Luke Weaver, though. Luke Weaver going for the Cardinals. He's 3-5 with a 4.35 ERA for St. Louis. It'll be Eric Lauer, a left-hander for the Padres. He's 2-4 with a 6.64 ERA. Looks to get that down. In Oakland, Garrett Cole going for the Astros against the A's. Cole is 7-1 with a 2.16 ERA. He has been very, 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 very good for the Astros in his first season down there in Houston. He'll be headed to D.C. for the All-Star game, no doubt, against the A's. They're already throwing up a young right-hander, Paul Blackburn, who's made a start this season. In his own one start this season, he's 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Went 6 innings, pitched well, and 3 strikeouts. So the A's looking to get a little stop job there from the young right-hander. And then lastly, in Los Angeles, it'll be Cole Hamels against Kenta Maeda for the Dodgers. Hamels, the left-hander for the Rangers, is 3-6 with a 3.86 ERA. Maeda 4-4 with a 3.61 ERA. So we have a couple of interleague series going on this week. Rangers, Dodgers, and then the Reds and Royals as well. And then on Thursday, the short slate day, only a handful of games to go over. In Miami, the Giants and Marlins finish up their series. That'll be an early morning start here in the Pacific time, a 9:10 start. It'll be Derek Rodriguez going again for the Giants against Dan Straley for the Marlins. He's 2-2 with a 4.08 ERA. Rodriguez is 1-1 with a 5.25 ERA in his short stint here in the majors. Rockies and Phillies. That'll be Jermaine Marquez against Vince Velasquez, and this one is they'll finish up that series in Philadelphia. Marquez is 4-6 with a 4.78 ERA on the season. Velasquez very similar, 4-7 with a 4.95 ERA on the year. Twins and Tigers going. It'll be Lance Lynn going in his looking for his 5th win on the season. He'll be going up against Michael Fulmer for the Tigers. Fulmer is 2-5 with a 4.40 ERA on the season. Can't seem to find his footing there in that Tigers rotation. Indians and White Sox going again. It'll be Steve Clevenger against Carlos Rodon for the White Sox. Rodon is 0-1 with a 3.60 ERA. So he finally got that call up. He's been their top prospect for a while. Hasn't really been the guy they thought they were going to be when they drafted him. Clevenger is 4-2 with a 3.31 ERA. Justin Verlander will be going for the Astros in Oakland against Montas for the A's, who's been pitching very nicely. Frankie Montas is 3-0 with a 1.25 ERA in as many starts for the A's. He's been in his 3 starts. He's won every single one of them for Oakland against Verlander, who's basically almost done the same exact thing for the Astros. He's 8-2 with a 1.45 ERA. He'll be another Astro headed to DC later this summer. Tampa Bay and the Yankees will get a series started in New York tomorrow. Rays and Yankees. Blake Snell against Domingo Germán for the Yankees. Germán is 0-4 with a 5.32 ERAs. He's been their 5th starter, and he hasn't been a good one. So that's, he's not going to see much you're not going to see much in the playoffs, but could be something that comes back to bite the Yankees if he has to stay in that rotation much longer, because it could cost them a first place chance. Obviously, when you have a good run support, you should be able to get some wins. He'll probably be able to turn around. Blake Snell's been good, though, really good, as he's 8-3 with a 2.30 ERA this season. In Atlanta, it'll be the Braves and the Padres getting going. A series going. It'll be Tyson Ross against Anibal Sanchez. 5-3. Ross is 5-3 with a 3.43 ERA on the year. Sanchez 2-0 with a 2.37 ERA. He's been good. In the final 2 games of the day in Arizona, it'll be the Mets and the Diamondbacks getting a series started. Steven Matz against Cook for the Diamondbacks. That's Matt Cook for the Diamondbacks. He's 4-3 with a 4.20 ERA. Matz is 2-4 with a 3.53 ERA on the season for New York. And then in the final game, Red Sox and Mariners from Seattle. It'll be a really good one. Everybody, make sure you mark your DVRs for this one if you can. I think it might be on national. They might throw it on MLB Network because of the pitching matchup. Yep, I called it. Out of market for MLB Network, it'll be Red Sox Mariners. David Price going for the Red Sox. He's 7-4 with a 4.00 ERA against King Felix Hernandez. 6-5 with a 5.70 ERA on the year. All right, that will wrap it up for the show today. We had gone over a bunch of stuff. We recapped the games from Monday and Tuesday. There were some really good ones out there. We had some late inning drama. We had the Reds score 1 in the 9th and 4 in the 10th to win I want to call them, it's a Major League Baseball game. They're not meaningless, but it's against a team that's also in last place in their division. So not too shabby there. As it's been interesting. That was fun to talk about there in that one. And then obviously we did talk about the Yankees and the Red Sox implications for the playoffs. Talked a little bit of trade stuff. Who's going to be, if anybody's going to trade for Manny Machado this season, who's it going to be? Who are they going to give up? Would they just want to wait for him in free agency because we know he's not going to re-sign with the Orioles? So there's no question there. It might hurt his draft stock. His trade stock value a little bit when it comes to the Orioles trying to get some return on Manny Machado instead of just losing him for nothing. All right, we'll be back on Friday. We'll recap the games I just previewed for you, and then we'll talk about the games for the weekend. We have some good series coming up this weekend, so everybody tune in on Friday. We'll see you there. So, bye for now.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.